Hey there! Today I'm going to be redesigning probably what was my first poster after taking my initial design classes. This was around the fall of 2016, and I'm challenging myself to do this in 30 minutes. So let the countdown begin. So this is the original poster, and you can see that I clearly loved right-aligned text, which is not ideal for reading. So that's going to be one of the things that I address. Here I'm going to start off with just getting the content on the page. Um, I'm deciding to emphasize women's leadership instead of Kenya on this one just because I think that that's a little bit more important. Even though the destination's cool and exciting, it's good to know that this is a women's leadership team. Um, I am removing the organizations that the mission trip is going to be supporting. I think that that's something that can be on the about page where people go and download the information, or it can be something that's discussed in the interest meeting. Here, I went into ChatGPT to rewrite the intro copy, just clean it up a little bit, but that is something that I will include. Um, but instead of having it at the top of the page, we're going to do after we introduce, hey, like this is a women's leadership mission trip. Um, so again, yep, just finishing the rest of the content on the page. I also want to include a QR code on this. I think that that's really helpful. A lot, if not all, college students nowadays have cell phones, and it's going to be a lot easier to go in, scan the QR code that will take them to the application online where they can apply to join the mission trip or to see more information. Next, I still want to maintain some of the original concepts and ideas that I had in this, so I'm going to keep the angles. I was also using the red, the green, black, white, or cream in this case, from the Kenyan flag. I just muted those colors. I'm going to bring them to pretty much full saturation. I'm also chose to put the Baylor Missions logo at the top so that that people when viewing this know that, like, hey, this is sponsored by Baylor Missions, this is a mission trip. Um, Again, going back to the original design, still including the drafts, just done in a different way. And you'll see here I did a black and white image with a color overlay. I don't really like this image, so I might go back and change it. It's just looking kind of muddied. I even tried the green to see if I like that a little bit better. But I'm going to worry about the image a little bit later because I gave myself 30 minutes to do this. I'm going to do a black background on this just to help with some contrast and bring in more of the black from the Kenyan flag. As you can see, I could not wait till the end to change that image. I just didn't like the way that the background behind the drafts was sitting on that red with the text on top. Here, I want to find a different font just to give this a little bit more personality. I'm not going to go as crazy with the fonts as I did before. I think that there were like 3 different fonts. So finding something that is thicker, still a little blocky, but I think that in this context, it really works. And then I'm going to outline that leadership with the women's in full white. I think that that again helps the emphasis, and you can really read women's leadership and kind of go on. Next, I wanted to start to create more attention on this QR code that I want to add, just because that's one of the call to actions for this page. Basically, I mean, you have the interest meeting, but you'd ideally want them to apply or learn more about this. So I created the green box down at the bottom, and then I flipped it and had the green coming out of the red just so that there wasn't as much space between the body copy and that image. I realized that I forgot to add the time and the place, so I'm going to go ahead and add that back because that's really important. Another thing with the dates is I wanted to unify the way that they were being presented. So I just did the dots between the month, the date, and the year. I think that this gives it a really clean look. I went ahead and added this red line accent, and then you can see I brought in the QR code, but I didn't like the way that that top angle was playing. Here, I'm trying to align all of these, and then finally I was like, oh yeah, there's a left align button. I should probably use that. Um, so back to this QR code, I didn't like the way that that angle was playing with the square shape, so I went ahead and just kind of boxed it off, and I think that this pairs well with the Baylor missions up at the top. And then there was some texture that I wanted to bring in. The old poster had a lot of texture, and I didn't want that to be lost because I was going for a slicker, cleaner design. So I found this giraffe pattern and brought that in, laid it over the greens. I did feel like it was a little too much in both areas, so removed one. And then here we have our before and after. Again, I tried to maintain some of the things I was trying to bring in the original design, the angles, the draft, the pattern, the texture, but simplified it, left aligned all of the text because that's just so much easier to read for users, gave them a QR code to scan, and just emphasize those Kenyan colors of the flag a bit more. Well, let me know your thoughts, maybe things you missed from the old poster, things you liked from this one. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.